Welcome and a heartfelt welcome to you today. It is such a marvelous day, and I am so glad to say welcome to the channel that will give you a miracle every day. And I am so glad to welcome you in to a place where you can have a greater awareness of truth every day, a greater awareness of healing power every day. What are you aware of today? Ask yourself that question, because whatever you are aware of is ready to be aware of you. Whatever you're ready for is now waiting for you and ready for you. So raise your awareness, widen your horizon, raise your expectation, and wide will be the blessings that will flow to you right now. Never give up on raising your expectations higher every day. Always know that as high as you can raise your expectations, even higher are those real blessings and real miracles already ready for you. How can we then doubt? How can we then fear that the future is going to be bright? How can we have any apprehension at all? How can we have any dread? How can we have even a second of unhappiness in our life? We can get all this awareness into our now moments and forget all of the past regrets and forget all the apprehensions of the future and enter into this place right now of total awareness of good. Because that's all that is really in the now, is what your awareness is in the now. So might as well be aware of happiness in the now, because that will be what will be with you in the now. The things that you're regretting that have been way in the past are not in the present now. The things that you're fearing might happen, they haven't happened yet. Only what you're becoming aware of in the now is what is the real for you right now. So become aware of more miracles, become aware of more healing power, become aware of more joy, become aware of more happiness. Happiness is so easy. Happiness is so easy to be happy, because all you have to do is just decide that my now moment, this very second, I choose to be happy. I may have been unhappy all my life. I may expect to be happy in the future. But right now, I am going to be perfectly happy. And if you'll do that now and then do that in the next second, the next second, and the next second, pretty soon the habit will come that will cause you to always be happy and full of joy. You receive a little bit of healing now, makes way for more healing in the future. So let us raise our awareness and widen our horizons and begin to expect so much more good than we could ever believe was possible. And all of that will come flooding in our way. It will come upon us in Niagaras of joy and power. It will be like a vast ocean, like a vast being in the middle of the vast Pacific Ocean and saying, I doubt that water is around me, when water is in every direction. Know that healing power is all around you in every direction. Know that miracles are all around you in every direction. Know that all energy and all joy and all happiness is there in every direction, and all encompassing you, and everything is there for you to become aware of, and all that is left is for you to raise your awareness to it. So let us lift our awareness to the healing power that is present. Let us lift our awareness right now to all of that marvelous, miraculous good that is actually there. So will our ability then to keep adding more to our abundance. Do you need more abundance? Start expecting more abundance. Start lifting your hands to God and asking for more abundance and more prosperity, and asking for more healing power and more ability to heal. Ask God every day to anoint you with the healing power. Ask Him to anoint you with a cup of joy. Ask Him to cause you to overflow with joy so that you are like a river of living water flowing to everyone around you. Ask God to do that for you. Ask God to pour out all of His cup of blessing upon your head right now and let it wash through you. And then become receptive and know that whatever you ask for like that is far greater, there's far more of it available than what you could possibly ask. Far above everything we could ask or think are the things which God actually already has for us. So we should understand then that we have the power. We have the power within our grasp to widen that horizon, to widen that channel, to raise that awareness, to lift up our head to the mountaintops of power and peace, to raise ourselves to climb to the highest mountain and look over into the greatest promised land that we could ever imagine. And as far as we can see, as we look out upon that promised land, as far as we can see to the end, there's no end to it. And if we go, as we go into it and go further and further into it, the more the end grows out further. And you never reach the end of all those things which are promised to you, already promised to you by God. There's no end to all of those things that are promised. When you reach the end and think you've received every last thing that is promised, you've only just begun. You've only entered that first little dot on the spectrum that goes for 1,000,000,000,000 miles. So understand then that we must begin to raise our awareness and our expectation, because we've got a long ways to go in what we can expect and what we need to be aware of. So I ask you, what are you aware of today? Well, I'm aware of certain happinesses and certain joys, and the sun is out bright and everything's right and it's a glorious day. The birds are singing in flight and all these kinds of things. Wonderful, wonderful blessings and nice fresh air and all these things. We are aware of those things. But are we aware that far greater than all of those things is all of these blessings that we can receive now that will give us a greater joy than any of those things could ever do? And actually, all of those things are only indications to point to what God really has for it. They are the first little dot at the end of the tunnel that is pointing to, with a small beam of light, to that great full-orbed sunlight of all the marvelous blessings that God actually has for us. A bird flying by is only an indication of wide and broad wings of angels that are actually ready to help us and guide us. The trees, the breeze is only indicative of great power of God in many ways. All of that is indicative. Everything, the vast oak trees and all, are only indicative of all of the vast power that God has to grow marvelous things for us to enjoy. Everything we see is only a real small in comparison to what God actually has for us, and is there as an example and an indication of how God can bless us when we raise our awareness to it. And so we should see it as such. We should see every blade of grass on the lawn pointing to the great blessings of God. It's a marvelous universe that we live in, where all is blessing, but all requires our awareness of it. We only receive the blessings that we allow ourselves to become aware of. And we only gain those things which we can stretch ourselves to expect. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, he can achieve, the saying goes. And so is true of all blessings and all power and all prosperity. So many things are available to us. So many promises are given to us. and we rarely ever even reach into the smallest portion of them. But that is not to always be the case. We are going to learn here of all the many things which we have missed out upon so far, but we're not going to miss out on any longer. We are going to start understanding all of those wonderful things that are there for us. And we're going to understand that we can be healed in a mighty way, not just in a little bit, not just relieved of some pain, but we can be relieved of all pain. We can be relieved of all illness. We can be relieved of every small sickness, from the smallest cold to the deepest incurable disease. We can receive that now from God. Just we have to raise our expectation to say, God, you are a God that can heal all disease, and it can provide all spiritual blessing, and can provide all prosperity and abundance. You are a God that provides all things that bring joy. You are a God that provides all things that bring blessing, all things that bring happiness of every kind. And I'm going to expect my horizons to ever be widening ever more. Every day I'm going to widen it a little bit more so that I can receive a little bit more of these blessings which are waiting on me. And they're waiting on us. Whatever we're ready for is ready for us. When we become ready and prepare ourselves and say, God, I want to be a healer. I want to be able to heal the sick and raise people up from the bed of illnesses and all diseases. I want this for myself. I want to be healed of everything so I can further accomplish many more mighty things for God. And I'll be perfect health and perfect harmony so that I'll be able to accomplish all of these things in a far mightier way. And I want to be a healer and learn how to heal. And I want to learn how to have more love. I want to learn how to have more joy and express more joy and give more joy to others. Then that widens our horizon to be able to actually do those things and actually see those things. Whatever we see, we can actually be. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. That's because whatever you raise your awareness to see, you can actually be. And the truth is there for all to see. So we need to begin then now to march into the future with a far greater awareness, far greater goals, far greater dreams, far greater power, far greater energy. Our vision raised high. Our vision raised high for what we can do for ourselves. Our vision raised high for what we can go do for the country. Our vision raised high for how all those problems we can solve. Our vision is raised high for all the people we can heal. Our vision is raised high. Our vision is raised high for all those many things we can accomplish. And as we march forward, that's what we're carrying with us, is that great vision of that great promised land of being able to accomplish all these miraculous things for God and for the people. And it is going to come about. And I'm going to pray right now that this will come about for each and every person listening right now, that you will receive greater and greater miracles in your life, that you will receive greater and greater healing power in your life, that you'll be able to heal people, that you'll be able to be raised up out of every illness and sickness that you ever fall into, that you'll be healed right now of that, whatever illness you may have, whatever disease, whether it's called curable or incurable. And I just raise people up now, Lord, raise them up out of any addiction to any drugs, to relieve them of all addiction to any kind of drug or any kind of bad habit, and raise them up out of any sense of oppression, depression, or obsession, and raise them up to a high mountain of joy like they've never received before and felt before in their life, that they'll be on the top high rung of happiness. They'll be on the high mountain of joy where they can actually see that promised land of power and love and joy and authority. And they will see all of that now in the name of thy Holy Son, Jesus. I pray in the name of thy Holy Son, Jesus. There's People out there listening now that need to be healed. Lord, they need to be healed of diabetes. They need to be healed of heart disease. They need to be healed of high blood pressure. They need to be healed of all kinds of things like osteoporosis and so forth. If they need to be healed of all of those things now, that you would raise them up to a high mountain of seeing where that healing power is and allow them and cause them to be healed right now in the name of the Holy Son, Jesus. Amen, amen, and amen.